So the cabinet came with these extra pieces of metal, which are designed to be used underneath the casters to strengthen that area. Rather than throw it away, I decided to use it to strengthen the area where the shelf overhangs the cabinet. That means I'll have to drill a couple of holes. How did I measure it that wrong? Oh. That's better. That actually fits. So with the last of the screws removed, I can take the piece off, put it on the table saw to make everything flush again, to fix the overlap issue that I had before, and then we should be good to go. What the? Oh, come on. Yeah, so remember the notch that I put out to fit that lip? Well, now that everything is glued together, I can't get it off that lip. And that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with that now. Well, so this isn't ideal, but I'm thinking if I cut this piece of metal back, I might be able to slide the whole thing forward. There we go. And with everything finally back together and lined up, I can install the casters. And I'm just putting the screw on that side because, I don't know, I feel like I should. So the caster will go right on these bolts, and lock nuts are a good application here because they have a nylon spacer in them and it'll prevent them from gradually loosening over time from vibration and movement. I don't have any lock nuts. I have regular nuts, but I do have thread sealant. So I'll be using thread sealant, and then I'll mostly do the same thing as the lock nuts. Originally, I had wanted to mount this handle on a hinge. This way, it would fall down to the side and I could save a couple of inches. And when I wanted to use it, I would just pick up on the handle, cart it around, and when I'd let go, it would just fall down again. Because of the way this handle is designed, I'm really only going to save about an inch doing that, and that's just not worth it. So I'll just bolt this in the way it was originally intended. So here's what it looks like with one of the tanks on. It's a good fit, but it could very easily fall, and that's what the chain is for. It's just a regular steel chain, but I got one that was painted yellow, because, you know, yellow means it's safer. These are the chain hooks I'll be using. They're just going to get inserted over here with this as a backer. I cut these out of some extra metal that I had. I'm going to put it behind the sheet metal. This is a little thin for my comfort, so this will just stiffen it up a little bit. Oh, those holes are a little too small. So the center of the chain will be connected permanently to this middle hook. On the ends I have quick connects, which will allow me to connect the chain and remove the chain for adding and removing tanks. I dropped the washer in between the sheet metal. Oh, crap. How am I going to get that out? So there's a small gap between two pieces of the sheet metal on the inside, and I dropped the washer right in between. It took me about 10 minutes to fish it out with some tape and this wire. All right, now to put it back. Oh, come on! So it's always important to have the right tool for the right job, and this is not the right tool. I broke my last metal cutting bit, but I do have a tile cutting bit. It's a diamond blade. I'm going to see if that's enough to cut this extra chain. Alright, well, I did it. And there we go. I think the tank is I think that's secure. So to make these wire winders, I cut some flat bar stock, bent it into the wrong shape. Then I cut some more flat bar stock and bent it into this shape. Although this is pretty thick gauge steel, I was worried about it opening and closing considering the 90-degree turns. So I added a little welding bead in each of the corners. You can see them here. It'll definitely help stabilize it and make it really hard for these to open and close. I also use an extra piece of stock for the back. This will help stiffen it considering how thin this metal is. Well, let's see if everything lines up. Perfect. All that's left to do now is to paint it. So when you're using oil paints and they tell you to use mineral spirits to clean up the brush, grab the mineral spirits and not the acetone. Acetone tends to dissolve plastic cups, and then all the acetone-soaked black paint spills all over the floor and ruins the paint. So, yeah. It looks good, just as I imagined it. So here it is all finished with the wires neatly concealed in the back. I have space for my 2 welders plus a little gap in between where I could set a tool down in between welding operations, and the tank secured on the side. It all fits neatly there in the corner. Wait, why didn't I weld the shelf to the bottom of it? That would have been so much easier.